She promotes new quality productivity, hidden war motive? China's deposits plunge by 4 trillion yuan, raising concerns over capital flow. China's M2 money supply exceeds 300 trillion. Where's the money gone? Return my daughter. Mother's Day turns heartbreaking. Authorities deploy police for stability. Red fire ants invade 625 counties and cities in China, poses deadly threat. It's all covered in today's China Truths. She promotes new quality productivity, hidden war motive? On May 10th, Business Insider reported on Beijing's strategies to decrease its economic dependence on the West, likely with military motivations. The article highlighted that the Chinese Communist Party has been significantly investing in the production of high-tech sectors like semiconductor chips, electric vehicles, batteries, and solar panels. Over the last year, Southeast Asia has surpassed the US and Europe to become China's largest export market. The Chinese government has also reduced its US Treasury bond holdings, decreased reliance on Western food imports, and worked to enhance its energy security. These initiatives are part of what Xi Jinping calls new quality productivity, a strategy aiming to fuel growth through heavy investments in manufacturing and R&D, particularly targeting high-tech and renewable energy industries. This approach is designed to counter potential economic setbacks from American restrictions on high-tech exports to China and to bolster China's standing in global technological competition. Business Insider notes that these efforts may not only boost China's slowing economy but also prepare the CCP for enduring geopolitical tensions with the West, aligning with military objectives like war preparedness. In a related move, Xi Jinping emphasized the development of new quality combat capabilities during the CCP National People's Congress military session on March 7, highlighting the focus on military readiness, particularly for maritime engagements. This military agenda coincides with his economic strategy of new quality productivity. Vivek Chilukuri, a national security expert from the New America Security Center, pointed out that one of Xi Jinping's clearest goals is the reunification of Taiwan with mainland China. The CCP has ramped up its military provocations around Taiwan in recent years, with Xi Jinping directing the military to ready itself for potential conflict. Expert predicts no imminent Taiwan Strait conflict. An expert has predicted that a conflict in the Taiwan Strait is not likely to occur in the near future, despite the Chinese Communist Party rapidly enhancing its military capabilities with the potential to take military action against Taiwan within a few years. If the CCP were to invade or blockade Taiwan, it would likely face international sanctions and trade restrictions, compelling China to further strengthen its domestic industries. The CCP's approach may reflect strategies used by Russia prior to its 2022 invasion of Ukraine, such as bolstering its economy through trade partnerships and achieving self-sufficiency in crucial commodities. These preparations enabled Russia to withstand Western sanctions. Notably, China has supported Russia by importing significant amounts of Russian oil, which played a key role during the sanctions. Chilukuri points out that the CCP's strategic effort to reduce economic vulnerabilities started a decade ago with the Made in China 2025 initiative, which targets making China a global leader in manufacturing key technologies like semiconductors and electric vehicles. This initiative is part of a broader strategy to prepare China for unforeseen events such as issues concerning Taiwan or global pandemics, and to rebound from the economic impact of the stringent zero-COVID policy, which has eroded some public confidence in Xi's leadership. However, other analysts believe that if China were preparing for an imminent aggressive move towards unification with Taiwan, there would be identifiable signals. According to Scott Kennedy, such preparations would include ramped-up government efforts to brace the population for war through extensive propaganda, increased investment in strategically important materials like carbon fiber, and the return of Chinese diplomats, businesspeople, and students from abroad. Additionally, significant shifts in Chinese financial assets might occur to avoid potential sanctions. In conclusion, while the preparations for enhancing China's military and economic resilience continue, the actual initiation of a conflict with Taiwan would have catastrophic effects on China's economy, making such a military action unlikely in the immediate future. China's deposits plunge by 4 trillion yuan, raising concerns over capital flow. On May 11, the People's Bank of China, PBOC, disclosed in its April 2024 financial statistics report a significant shift in RMB deposits. While deposits grew by 7.32 trillion yuan, about $1 trillion over the first 4 months of the year, there was a sharp decline of 3.92 trillion yuan, about $542 billion, from the first quarter's higher total of 11.24 trillion yuan, about $1.55 trillion. This means that in April alone, deposits fell by nearly 4 trillion yuan, about $553.04 billion. The breakdown shows a drop in corporate deposits by 1.87 trillion yuan, about $259 billion, and in household deposits by 1.85 trillion yuan, about $255.8 billion, compared to last year, with fiscal deposits also increasing less than in previous years. This reduction in deposit growth contributed to decreased growth rates of both broad money, M2, and narrow money, M1, by the end of April, hitting historic lows of 7.2% and -1.4% respectively. Industry experts attribute this sharp decrease to seasonal factors and regulatory-directed banking efforts to curb high-interest liabilities. As a result, many have redirected their funds from deposits to bank wealth management products or to early loan repayments. This drop has triggered widespread discussion among Chinese netizens, with many speculating on social media about the underlying causes, ranging from unemployment to the emigration of wealthier citizens and the inconveniences of withdrawing money. Commenting on this issue, US-based economist Li Hengqing told NTD-TV that the public's desire to consume is very low. The overall chaos and poor economic situation are making people lose confidence in the future, leading to conservative investment and production. China's M2 money supply exceeds 300 trillion, whereas the money gone. On May 10, the People's Bank of China, PBOC, released the 2024 first quarter China Monetary Policy Implementation Report, highlighting that the broad money supply, M2, in China has surpassed 300 trillion yuan, about $41.5 trillion USD, indicating a substantial growth in deposits and loans. This has prompted widespread societal questions, asking where is the money? Where has it gone? Let's analyze the situation. The PBOC report boasted that China's financial system has increased its support for the real economy, with loans and deposits both showing substantial growth. By the end of March, total deposits in both domestic and foreign currencies had reached 301.4 trillion yuan, about $41.7 trillion, up by 7.6% year-on-year. RMB deposits increased to 295.5 trillion yuan, about $40.9 trillion, a rise of 7.9%. American economist David Huang criticized the reporting, noting that it's misleading to claim that China has 300 trillion yuan in deposits. He clarified that what has actually been issued is broad money totaling 301.19 trillion yuan, about $41.6 trillion USD, representing a 50% increase in currency issuance since 2019. He attributed this rapid increase to excessive printing, partly driven by the need to cover a high volume of bad debts, especially from defaults in the real estate sector. Huang emphasized that this massive issuance of currency, which is 1.4 to 1.6 times the volume issued by the United States, is the largest globally and could potentially lead to asset bubbles, especially since China's economic output still significantly lags behind that of the US. The PBOC report also detailed that total loans had increased by 9.2% year-on-year to 251.8 trillion yuan, about $34.8 trillion, with loans to Chinese enterprises and households accounting for 66% and 33% of all loans, respectively. Noteworthy is the increase in medium and long-term corporate loans, making up nearly 80% of all corporate loans. US-based economist Li Hengqing commented on the declining consumer sentiment and reluctance to take risks, exacerbated by the CCP's strict pandemic controls in 2021, which pushed many private enterprises to close or alter their operations. he observed that the increased costs and limited opportunities have made profitable private enterprises hesitant to take out loans. He highlighted the shrinking private economy and the government's increasing reliance on state-owned enterprises to lead economic development, with significant investment directed towards manufacturing and infrastructure, over 50% of which is related to real estate, while less than 10% is invested in non-real estate sectors by residents. Mr. Lee also pointed out the shift from a severe loan shortage to an excess, with banks creating significant barriers to early loan repayments due to the overwhelming volume of repayments and lack of new borrowers, with over 20% of bank loans classified as bad debts. Despite low interest rates on fixed deposits around 2%, people remain hesitant to spend. Mr. Lee noted that the government is actively encouraging people to withdraw their savings to invest in housing, cars, and durable goods like refrigerators and TVs through various promotions, including trade-ins. In this economic downturn, people prefer to save rather than spend, given the scarce earning opportunities and challenging business environment. He stressed that reducing debt expenses is vital, and it's unlikely that people will borrow boldly to stimulate market demand, contrary to government hopes. Return my daughter, Mother's Day turns heartbreaking, authorities deploy police for stability. According to reports from mainland media, on May 10, around noon, at the intersection of Panxiang Road and Hongjiang Road in Chongchuan District, Nantong City, Jiangsu, a school bus filled with elementary students was broadsided by a dump truck. Locals had noted that the traffic light on Panxiang Road traveling from north to south had been malfunctioning for some time, yet repairs had not been made. Due to the traffic light being out of service at the intersection the bus was crossing, it inadvertently ran a red light and was struck by the oncoming dump truck, which was operating under normal traffic conditions. Authorities have confirmed that the accident resulted in one student's death and injuries to 7 others. The deceased is Gu Zixin, a Nantong elementary student. Gu Zixin's funeral took place on May 12, coincidentally falling on Mother's Day. Many residents of Nantong, moved by the tragedy, visited the funeral home to pay their respects, and numerous others sent flowers via online orders. At the funeral, Gu Zixin's mother expressed her agony on social media, accusing, "My daughter's life was exchanged for the repair of traffic lights across Nantong. That's the cost. And they still haggle with me, offering money to bring my child back." Outside the funeral home, Gu Zixin's grandmother displayed a banner proclaiming, "Return my daughter." She expressed her anger, saying, she was dead right there and then, yet they claimed to have tried to save her for 4 hours, blatantly lying. "We received no notification, nor were we allowed entry," referring to the hospital where it was claimed attempts to save her were made. Do they have any humanity? They're covering up the truth. Return my granddaughter. She was so beautiful, my lovely granddaughter. The government should come and look. Can you live with your conscience? If the government wants to take someone, let them take me. I'm not afraid. Following the tragic accident, the authorities continued their efforts to maintain order. They swiftly removed mourning bouquets left by locals and netizens at the crash site and deployed special police to encircle the area. Within this perimeter, urgent repairs were made to the traffic lights, while some officers were seen joking and laughing, a stark contrast to the somber situation. On the day of Gu Zixin's funeral, a heavy police presence remained at the scene, with officers and vehicles ensuring the area remained sealed off throughout the night. Local flower shops were even asked not to sell chrysanthemums, which are usually used to commemorate the deceased. The authorities also took measures to manage the families of the deceased and critically injured children, with all their phones monitored. Social media content related to Gu Zixin's mother was systematically deleted. She expressed her despair. "I just want to know how my child left and when she left. I already know everything. What is the government still hiding?" She also threatened legal action against any further censorship, accusing the government of hiding the truth. Online discussions reflected broader discontent, with one user critiquing the government's priorities, quick to secure order yet slow to fix the broken traffic lights in time, or when something happened to the child, they didn't notify the parents. They pointed out that the government often prioritizes political stability over public welfare, a sentiment that resonates with historical inefficiencies in administrative systems, as seen in the final years before the collapse of the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, Beijing lawyer Chen Hao voiced his concerns in a video, lamenting the suppression of truthful reporting, saying, "My previous video, is it really that difficult to report truthfully, has been blocked." When deleting videos and blocking accounts become commonplace, freedom of speech becomes a plastic flower in a vase, and where's the truth and independence of the news media? Red fire ants invade 625 counties and cities in China, poses deadly threat. China is currently grappling with an invasion of red imported fire ants, which have become especially active during the planting season. China state media and experts have highlighted the severity of the threat, noting that bites from these ants in severe cases lead to shock or death. As per reported by mainland media including the paper, the personal account of a woman surnamed Xia described a bite that swelled to the size of a palm, turned intensely hot and red, resembling a second knee on her leg, and caused relentless itching that disrupted sleep and led to continuous cycles of scabbing and scratching. Dong Likuan, a senior engineer at the Wuhan City Gardening Science Research Institute's Plant Protection Research Institute, spoke to Jupai News about the significant dangers red imported fire ants pose to humans and livestock. He explained that these ants rapidly form dense colonies, with their nests constructed from fine soil particles into raised mounds with a honeycomb-like interior, and become extremely aggressive when their nests are disturbed, attacking in swarms. Dong advised people to steer clear of ant mounds and to report any sightings to local parks or forestry departments for professional removal. He also stressed the importance of washing any ant bites with soapy water and promptly seeking medical attention. The Beijing Municipal Center for Disease Control and Prevention reports that bites or stings from red imported fire ants cause continuous burning pain, red patches, blisters, and significant swelling on the skin. When the blisters break, they often lead to secondary bacterial infections. Additionally, around 2% of people are allergic to the ant's venom, experiencing reactions such as facial redness, hives, and breathing difficulties. Severe allergic reactions can cause vomiting, dizziness, and shock, posing life-threatening risks if not treated quickly. For example, an incident occurred during the Qingming holiday in 2021 when a woman in Meizhou, Guangdong, collapsed on her way home after gardening. She had been bitten by red imported fire ants and went into shock, nearly dying from the encounter. Despite official warnings, the Chinese government appears to be struggling to control the spread of these invasive ants. By March 2021, the invasion of red imported fire ants had escalated significantly in China, affecting numerous provinces including Zhejiang, Fujian, and Guangdong, and reaching as far north as the Qinling area. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs, the ants expanded from 281 to 625 counties between 2016 and 2023, indicating a swift and broad spread across the country. Despite extensive efforts involving multiple government agencies, which are projected to take 3 to 5 years to fully implement, public communication about the progress of these measures has been minimal. It wasn't until a recent article reported a resurgence of ant activity, with invasions in 12 provinces posing serious threats, that the issue came back into public focus. Recognized globally as one of the most dangerous invasive species, red imported fire ants have an exceptional reproductive capacity. They can live up to 4 years, continuously reproducing until death, with a typical nest producing between 2,000 and 3,000 eggs per day. The high survival rate of these eggs allows nests to reach populations of hundreds of thousands. The impact on agriculture is severe, as these ants displace seeds from crops, directly consume fruits and shoots, and significantly reduce germination rates. In areas heavily infested, crop yields, including soybeans, mung beans, sweet potatoes, and potatoes, can decrease by up to 30% or more. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.